Hello everyone, the pentatonic scales are a staple among guitar players of all levels and styles, and yet it is surprising how many of us don't know them as well as we should. So today, in under 5 minutes, I will show you everything you need to know about both the major and minor pentatonic scale, and by the end of this video you'll be able to use them and explore them further on your own. Let's begin. There are actually a number of pentatonic scales that exist, but the ones that interest us today and the ones you'll be using 95% of the time are major and minor. The major pentatonic scale is derived from a regular diatonic major scale, which in the key of C would be C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. Very simple, and how we derive the major pentatonic is by removing two notes. These two notes are the 4th and the 7th, which in this key translate to F and B. We take those two notes out, we're left with 5 penta notes, tones, and that's how we get the pentatonic. When we remove these two notes, we lose the half steps within the major scale. One half step between the E and the F, and the other between the B and the C. And with these half steps, we also lose the tritone. And the tritone is where the tension and the push and pull of the scale reside. And that creates what we might call a bit of a bland scale, maybe not as interesting, but at the same time, it's very easy to use. And I have to say that it has a particular emotional appeal. So let's hear it. Here's the sound difference between major and major pentatonic. You can hear how little friction there is when it comes to the pentatonic. And because the pentatonic scale is so easy to use, there's a high risk of you kind of falling back onto a couple of patterns that everybody else uses, and then it becomes very difficult to be creative and emotional in your playing with this scale. So it's very important that you learn it all over the fretboard so you can break free of those patterns. So here's 5 fingerings that cover the whole fretboard in the key of C. You should memorize all these patterns and of course where the roots are, those red circles, because that's what you'll use to change keys. Let's say for example I'm playing in C major down here and I want to play, let's say, in E. I have to move these two roots until I find an E and then play the same pattern and I'll be in E major pentatonic. The minor pentatonic scale is the one you might have used the most because it's such a staple of blues, rock, heavy metal, and many other styles of music. And again, you might fall into the trap of just using 1 or 2 patterns, and it's very hard to be creative that way. So before we continue, here's 5 patterns for the minor pentatonic scale. The minor pentatonic scale is again found by removing 2 notes from the regular minor scale, and these notes are the 2nd and the 6th. In the case of C, that would be the D and the A flat. And this is the difference in sound between a regular minor and the pentatonic minor. Again, we lose the half steps, but the effect is not as drastic as before because the minor scale is more rich harmonically than the major. So I think the minor pentatonic scale survives a bit better. One more thing we should discuss is where can we use these scales. And because the major and minor pentatonic scales are simply major and minor scales with 2 notes removed, we can actually use them over any chord progression that would work with their parent scales. And that's the beauty of it. We can use the pentatonic scales right alongside the harmonically at least richer major and minor. There's of course a lot more to learn on the pentatonic scales, and one thing that really fascinates me is how we can expand their sound by adding notes to them. And this video here really goes deep into that, if I may say so myself. It's very interesting, so check it out if you want to. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this video, found it useful. If you did, maybe give it a like, maybe subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And as always, I look forward to all your comments below. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.